Greetings. In this episode of the LightCast, I am going to use you, if you will, for a little bit of market research. If you are interested in that and would be willing to perhaps consider some thoughts and give me your opinion, then I appreciate you. Stay tuned. Okay, so some of you who have been listening to me so far and participating in my content on YouTube and sometimes on Facebook are kind of local friends that know who I am and what I have been and what I have done. The things I have done to occupy my time. That's another way we can say that. Others of you have just maybe found my conversations and content here, and we're just getting to know each other. And so you don't know really that much about my past and the life experience I've lived up until now. So for those of you who don't know, I'll express that I studied architecture in university. And I have worked in the field of architecture. And then I have also participated in the allied disciplines to architecture, landscape design, interior design, graphic design, furniture, millwork, cabinetry. I've even fabricated light fixtures for certain projects. So I have a art and design and construction and fabrication background. So there's sort of all of that rolled in together. But I've also explored other things, as you know. And a few years ago, my life experience offered me the opportunity to take a break from offering professional design services. I kind of fell out of love with it, and I had been facing some particular challenges that are a part of that, and I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty details of how that unfolded in this video. But what I would like to tell you is that I have recently begun to open myself up again to the idea of offering design services. And in particular, I have a couple of residential projects and a couple of small commercial projects that I'm a part of. And I was just kind of feeling this out to see, will I fall back in love with it again? Is it something that I want to see as part of my future experience? And I have a particular house that's in the framing stage now, and I'm going to flash some images for you on the screen so you can get a sense of kind of the form and the gesture and the character of it. But as this house has been in the framing stage, I did in fact find myself reinvigorated with that aspect of who and what I am and who and what I have been. I love the idea, and I love the thrill of the ideas. I love the process of imagining something and realizing the idea of something and then communicating that idea to clients, colleagues, craftsmen, and then watching and being a witness to that idea coming into form. It's really fun. So I think I might want to do that some more again. And I've been in conversation with a friend and occasional colleague named Austin. And off and on throughout recent years, we've collaborated with one another in various ways. But he is the general contractor on this house that's being framed. And so we've been chewing around on ideas for branding a company that would sort of express the idea of a container for co-creation and collaboration on various design and construction projects across various disciplines. So it's basically a sort of multidisciplinary design studio with various creatives working at various levels. So from fabricating small things to conceptualizing big things and building big things and developing big things. So if we were going to brand a container like that, what would we call it? And as anyone who has gone through a process like this would know, it's fairly easy and straightforward to use your names. But sometimes it feels like the idea of what you're making is bigger than just you, and that it's bigger than just your name. So that leads me to my question. The reason I'm seeking market research and potentially your opinion or inspired feedback. I'm going to express a word for you, and I would just love to hear your impressions of the word. And I may, at least a little bit, try to influence you. I'm going to express the word and then define the word and then talk through a little bit about what led us to think about this word. Okay, so the word is Vanguard. V as in Victor, Anguard. Vanguard. And the definition of it, this is one of my favorite definitions that I found. It's a noun, and it is a group of people leading the way in new developments or ideas. And then there's a great example using the word, the experimental spirit of the modernist vanguard. I just love that. So my question to you all is, how does that word strike you? Is it cool? I think Vanguard is fun. I think Vanguard ideas are fun. I enjoy pushing my consciousness, even in design and architecture, toward that leading edge, that forward edge of creation. As we know, there's a leading edge to all things, and there's always a dance we play between the past, where we've come from, and the future, where we're headed to. But I kind of like to occupy that zone on the leading edge as much as possible, as much as is comfortable. So Vanguard to me is fun, but I'm curious, when you just hear that word, like, how does it strike you? Do you know what it means? Do you think most people know what it means? Do you think it's too pretentious? Do you think if we had fun with the branding, it could be a word that would express? I mean, if you notice, the house that I shared with you has a pretty strong gestural roof form. It's basically a butterfly roof, which there were a few of those by the Vanguard mid-century architects, and even a bit before that. Frank Lloyd Wright has a few. Of course, he was Vanguard. But particularly with this house, not only is it a pretty Vanguard form, but in order to accomplish that form, I used some pretty Vanguard roof framing techniques. Excuse me. So, like the idea of Vanguard or being on the forward edge or being experimental kind of permeates the attitude that I and we would bring to a lot of the different levels of the operation. And so I don't know exactly how the final brand, if it would be that word plus some other words or what. But I just wanted to start in an inspired way to reach out to you and see if you had any impulse, intuition, thoughts, or ideas, or feedback about this word, Vanguard. If you do, please don't hesitate to mention it in the comments. I will say there's a disclaimer. I may or may not listen to any of this input, but I value it even if I don't incorporate it. So your responses are appreciated and will be contemplated and heard, and we'll just see where this goes. Okay. Thank you for giving this a listen, and I look forward to your feedback. We'll see you next time.